So look, I know that diversity and inclusion is a hot topic right now. It has been for some time. I think even now, there's been a rampant increase as it relates to the chief diversity officer roles posted online and jobs being filled than there have ever been before. When it comes to positioning in the organization, though, I want you to think about something. A lot of times you see diversity and inclusion fall under talent management, fall under overall HR, and even in some cases fall under corporate social responsibility. When we think about diversity and inclusion, and we think about how do we really move this function forward, we always talk about top down. That means that the CEO, how are they bought into this? Are they leading, whether it's on a diversity council, whether it's conversation discussions, how are they leading? How are their teams leading? And how does it permeate through the organization? When you think about a top-down approach as it relates to diversity and inclusion, you have to put the importance. If this is the direction that you want to go as an organization, and it's a direction that is new to you, that you're just now discovering, but you're definite that this is the journey that we want to go on, your diversity and inclusion officer has to report to the CEO. I can't be any more straightforward than that. If this, from a CEO's perspective, if diversity and inclusion is that important to you, then it needs to report to you. It needs to have direct line of sight so that not only can they have conversations with you as a CEO to influence decision making, but then also they need to sit at the table, because diversity and inclusion should be horizontal across the organization. It should not only be in HR, it should not only be in how we engage employees, it should also be in supply diversity. It should also be going through corporate responsibility. It should also be in technology. And how are we looking at the tools and systems that we're building and thinking about that inclusive mindset? How do we make sure that we're designing products by diverse people, for these times that we are in, right? We have a lot of stuff around facial recognition. Diversity and inclusion needs to be able to have conversations with leadership team and technology, and being able to bring them to the table allows for them to have that clout, to have that level of respectability across the organization, and then having that direct line to the CEO will let them know that as we push this through the organization, this is coming from the top. There's no one in between us. Now, I'm not saying that person has to report to the CEO forever. But in the beginning, if it's going to be important, if the CEO is going to say that this is important, then you have to look at diversity and inclusion the same way you look at finance, the same way you look at HR, the same way you look at engineering, the same way you look at marketing and sales, because they all report to you. And that's important. The visual piece that you see, not only what happens, but what is seen when you look at leadership come to us, is that D&I sits at the table with the CEO and their staff.